What if the first warning sign of losing your independence isn't your memory, but your legs? By the time your steps feel heavier, your muscles may have already been wasting away, quietly, invisibly, for years. I'm Dr. Carson, a senior health specialist with 30 years of experience, and what I'm about to reveal could completely shift how you see aging. Here's the real shock. The number one reason older adults end up in long-term care isn't heart disease, and it's not dementia. It's falls. And the root cause of those falls? It might already be hiding in your kitchen. Let me tell you something most doctors won't say out loud. It's not your heart. It's not your brain. It's not even your blood sugar. The real danger, what truly robs people over 60 of their freedom, their confidence, and their independence, is much quieter. It doesn't announce itself. There are no sirens, no sudden symptoms. Just a slow, creeping erosion happening right under your skin. And by the time you notice it, it may already be too late. I've spent more than 25 years working with people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. I've helped them navigate strokes, manage arthritis, recover from surgeries. But the most devastating thing I see, the thing that changes lives overnight, is something no one talks about at family dinners or in routine checkups. It's when the legs go, not overnight, not all at once. First, it's just a little more effort to stand up from the sofa. Then you start avoiding stairs. Grocery bags feel heavier. You tell yourself it's just getting older. But here's the truth. It's not just aging. It's something far more dangerous. A silent thief called muscle atrophy. And it starts in your legs. I once had a patient named Harold, 72, bright, energetic, used to be a high school coach. One day he told me, "Doc, I feel a little slower, like my legs just aren't as snappy anymore." 3 months later, he fell while reaching for a book on the top shelf, fractured his hip. He went from independent to needing a walker, from walker to wheelchair, from weekend hikes to barely leaving his apartment. All because of something most people never even realize is happening, until it's already stolen something they can't get back. You see, your legs are the foundation of everything. Your balance, your ability to move freely, to live without fear. And when they weaken, even a single fall can trigger a chain reaction that changes your entire future. But what shocked me most wasn't how common this was. It was how preventable. Because while everyone talks about cardio, or cutting sugar, or doing puzzles for brain health, no one talks about how your legs are quietly losing strength every single week. No one tells you that it's not about getting older. It's about what you're feeding your muscles. Or more accurately, what you're not feeding them. I'm making this video today not to scare you, but to wake you up. Because there's something you can do about it. You don't have to accept this slow fade into weakness. You don't have to wait for a fall to realize your legs need help. You can fight back, starting today. And no, it doesn't begin in the gym. It doesn't start with lifting weights or running marathons. It starts in your kitchen. That's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 powerful foods, real, everyday ingredients, that can literally reawaken your legs, restore muscle strength, and protect your independence for years to come. I've seen it work, not just in labs, but in real people, real lives. But first, do me a favor. If you're someone who wants to stay strong, stay independent, and keep doing the things you love for as long as possible, then go ahead and subscribe to this channel right now. It helps us reach more people who need to hear this, and it gives us the motivation to keep making videos that truly make a difference. Your support matters more than you know. And while we're at it, I want to ask you something. Which do you believe is more dangerous after age 60? A. A heart that slows down. B. Legs that silently weaken. Type your answer in the comments below. A or B, and let's see what most people think. Or simply tell me, have you ever felt this in your own life? Have your legs started to feel less dependable than they used to be? If yes, drop a 1 in the comments. I'm reading every response. Now, let's talk about what's really causing this, and the 6 foods that can turn it all around. Let me take you a bit deeper. When most people think about aging, they picture wrinkles, maybe slower memory, or a bit of gray hair. But they rarely think about the legs, the very pillars holding everything together. What I've learned over decades of working with older adults is that when your legs begin to weaken, your entire life starts to narrow. It doesn't just change how you move, it changes how you feel about yourself. It changes how you relate to your body, and even how safe you feel in your own home. So why do the legs go first? Because they carry more than your weight. They carry your history. Every step you've taken, every hill you've climbed, every errand, every walk through the park with someone you love, all of it is stored in those muscles. And as we age, those muscles begin to break down faster than the body can rebuild them. That's muscle atrophy. What most people don't realize is that the legs are home to the largest muscle groups in the body: your quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. These muscles don't just help you move. They stabilize you. They maintain your posture. They keep your balance when you slip slightly or turn too fast. When those muscles weaken, even the simplest things become risky. Stepping out of the shower, walking on uneven pavement, standing up too fast. A fall doesn't just mean a bruise. It can mean a broken hip, a hospital bed, and sometimes a loss of independence that never comes back. That's not fear-mongering. That's reality. I've seen it. But there's something else that isn't being said, and I want to make this absolutely clear. Age alone is not the cause. I've had patients in their late 70s who moved like they were in their 50s. I've also had 60-year-olds who struggled with every movement. The difference? It came down to what they were giving their muscles every single day. There's this popular idea that the only way to stay strong is to work out. And yes, movement is essential. But what's rarely discussed is the fuel. You wouldn't expect a car to run on an empty tank. Muscles are no different. After 60, the body's ability to synthesize and absorb nutrients shifts. You're not using nutrients the same way you did at 30 or 40. Your body needs more support, not less. But instead of adjusting their diets, most people continue eating the way they always have. Or worse, they cut back because they don't feel as hungry. That's how the spiral begins. Without the right building blocks, amino acids, key vitamins, and minerals, your muscles can't repair the micro-tears that happen with everyday movement. What used to be a simple walk around the block now causes soreness. Stiffness lasts longer. Recovery slows down. And over time, strength disappears without warning. But what's truly alarming is this. Most people don't realize it's happening until the damage is already done. They just chalk it up to age. I'll never forget when a patient named George came into my clinic. He was 68, relatively healthy, but said something that stuck with me. He said, "I don't know what happened. I didn't fall. I didn't get sick. I just don't feel steady anymore." That's the point I want to drive home. You don't need a traumatic injury to start losing mobility. You just need years of small, unnoticed neglect, especially when it comes to nutrition. And here's something else. Weakened legs don't just affect movement. They affect confidence. I've had people tell me they've stopped going on walks with their spouse, turned down family trips, even avoided grocery stores, not because they were in pain, but because they were afraid they might fall. That fear, that hesitancy, slowly steals your freedom. But it doesn't have to. The real solution starts with awareness, with the understanding that your muscles, especially your legs, are not something to take for granted. They are not invincible, but they are trainable, rebuildable, and absolutely worth investing in. That investment isn't just physical, it's nutritional. Every bite you take is either fueling your strength or feeding your decline. The foods you eat either rebuild tissue or inflame it. And if you're not choosing wisely, even your best exercise efforts might fall flat. I'm not saying this to overwhelm you. I'm saying it to empower you. Because you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to start paying attention to the signals. You need to give your body the materials it needs to fight back. And you need to know that decline is not a one-way road. You can turn around, but it starts now, not next year. Not when your balance is already off. Not after a fall. Now. In the next section, I'll give you the 6 foods I recommend most to help you rebuild leg strength, protect your balance, and stay mobile for years to come. These aren't exotic superfoods or hard-to-find supplements. They're real, whole foods, nutrient-rich, accessible, and scientifically proven to make a difference. If you've ever felt that slight wobble in your step, if you've noticed it's just a little harder to stand up after sitting, or if you've watched someone you love go through that decline, I want you to know you have more power than you think. Let's rebuild from the ground up, starting with what's on your plate. I remember a particular day when I was sitting with a patient named Carol. She was in her early 70s, sharp as a tack, but deeply frustrated. "Doc," she said, "I used to walk for an hour every morning. Now I get winded climbing stairs. My legs feel hollow." That word stuck with me. Hollow. That's exactly how muscle loss can feel. Like the strength that once held you up is quietly draining away. And no matter how many stretches you do or how carefully you move, it doesn't get better. Not unless you feed those muscles what they need. This is the part most people miss. You can't rebuild strength without material. You wouldn't patch a wall without plaster. You wouldn't fix a car without parts. So why do we expect our bodies to regain strength without giving it the right fuel? Let me show you how to start. These 6 foods aren't hype. They're grounded in research, rooted in real-life results, and used every day by people I trust. They're not just healthy. They're targeted tools for rebuilding your legs from the inside out. First, sweet potatoes. Not just because they're delicious, but because they're one of nature's best sources of complex carbohydrates. And as we age, that matters more than ever. You see, your muscles need steady energy to function. When you fuel them with sugary snacks or refined carbs, you're setting yourself up for a crash. But complex carbs? They break down slowly. They give your body time to absorb and convert energy efficiently. Sweet potatoes are rich in vitamin A too, which plays a critical role in muscle tissue repair. Add their fiber content and anti-inflammatory properties, and you've got a food that nourishes not just your muscles, but also your gut, your joints, your endurance. Then there are oats. Don't be fooled by their humble appearance. Oats are a silent powerhouse. What makes them special is their low glycemic index. That means they keep your blood sugar stable, so your energy levels don't spike and crash. But even more importantly, oats are high in iron and magnesium. Why should you care? Because iron helps transport oxygen to your muscles. Without it, your legs feel heavy, sluggish, fatigued. Magnesium. That's the mineral responsible for relaxing muscles and preventing cramps. Ever woken up with a stabbing leg cramp in the middle of the night? Your body might be begging for more magnesium, and oats deliver it, gently and naturally. Avocados were once dismissed as fatty, but we know better now. They're one of the best sources of heart-healthy fats and potassium. And let me tell you something that surprises most people. Potassium isn't just good for your heart. It's essential for muscle contraction. Without enough potassium, your legs can't fire properly. You feel clumsy, unstable. Worse, your nerves and muscles can't communicate effectively. That's why avocados are such a game changer. They improve not just muscle tone, but also the neural response that controls balance and movement. Add in vitamin E, an antioxidant that protects muscle cells from stress. And you've got a food that supports strength and flexibility. Berries are small, but don't underestimate them. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. They're packed with antioxidants that combat one of the biggest threats to your muscles: oxidative stress. Every day, your body fights off cellular damage from pollution, poor diet, and even emotional stress. When left unchecked, this damage accelerates aging and weakens your muscles. Berries neutralize those harmful compounds. They also promote collagen production, which supports tendons and joints. That means less stiffness, more fluid motion. And here's a bonus. Studies have linked berries to improved brain function too, because strong legs are only useful if your brain knows how to use them. Let's talk about salmon. When people ask me what protein I recommend for building back strength, this is always in my top 3. Not only is salmon rich in high-quality protein, it's also one of the best natural sources of omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3s are vital if you're battling inflammation, joint pain, or delayed muscle recovery. They improve circulation too, ensuring your muscles get the oxygen and nutrients they need to stay alive and vibrant. Add in vitamin B12, which helps with nerve function and energy production, and you have a food that supports every aspect of lower body strength, from the muscle itself, to the nerves that control it, to the joints that move it. And finally, eggs. Simple, affordable, versatile. But don't let their simplicity fool you. Eggs contain all 9 essential amino acids, making them a complete protein. As you age, your body becomes less efficient at processing protein. That means you need higher quality sources, and eggs deliver. They're also one of the few foods that naturally contain vitamin D, which supports muscle strength and reduces fall risk. But perhaps the most overlooked benefit is choline, a nutrient that helps maintain the connection between your nerves and muscles. That's what keeps your movements sharp, responsive, coordinated. You might not feel it immediately, but over time, this makes the difference between feeling confident on your feet and feeling unsure with every step. Now, I'm not saying you need to eat all 6 of these foods every day, but weaving them into your weekly routine, consistently, mindfully, can radically change the way your legs feel and function. I've seen people regain the ability to hike, dance, play with their grandkids, not because they took a miracle pill, but because they nourished their bodies in the right way, at the right time. And I want the same for you, because every strong step starts with what you put on your plate. And with the right foundation, your legs can carry you wherever you want to go, freely, confidently, powerfully. So start today. Choose one of these foods. Add it to your next meal. Let your body feel what it's like to be supported, not just from the outside, but from deep within. I've worked with hundreds of patients over the years. I've watched them go through surgeries, rehab, medication changes, and complicated treatments. And still, some of the most transformative moments I've witnessed, moments that truly changed someone's future, didn't happen in a hospital bed or therapy room. They happened the moment someone decided to take their strength back. Not with force, not with massive effort, but with a quiet, intentional decision to start. Sometimes, that moment was as small as saying, "Okay, I'll start adding oats to my breakfast." Or, "I'll try walking 5 more minutes this week." And it's incredible what can happen from that one choice. Because here's something I need you to hear. Rebuilding your legs, reclaiming your movement, your steadiness, your energy, doesn't require a miracle. It doesn't require a total lifestyle overhaul. It just requires that you stop waiting for the perfect moment. It requires you to start, right now, with what you have. One of the biggest mistakes I see, especially among people over 60, is this silent belief. It's too late for me. That thought sneaks in quietly. You don't say it out loud, but it's there. When you see someone jogging past you, when you hesitate to reach the top shelf, when you hold the handrail a little tighter than you used to, you think, I've already lost too much ground. But let me tell you, that thought is a lie. I've seen legs get stronger at 65, 72, 84. I've seen people walk again without pain after years of stiffness. I've seen balance return, steps become lighter, confidence rebuild piece by piece. But none of that starts with pressure. It starts with permission. The permission to believe that your body is still responsive, still alive, still ready to recover. And no, I'm not saying it's effortless. You will have days when it feels slower than you'd like. Progress might not always be visible in the mirror, but your body keeps track. It knows when you feed it well. It knows when you stop skipping meals. It knows when you give it the right proteins, minerals, fats. It knows, and it responds. I remember a man named Dennis, 74, soft-spoken, widowed, used to love fishing. He told me once, "Doc, I think I'm just slowing down. That's life." But I asked him a question. I said, "If your legs had the energy they did 10 years ago, what would you do?" And his eyes lit up. He said, "I'd walk down the river trail again." So we started small. We added salmon twice a week. He began his mornings with eggs and avocado toast instead of boxed cereal. Within 6 weeks, his posture had improved. His voice had more energy. He didn't say it, but I saw it in his walk. He had hope again. And that's what I want you to have. Not guilt, not fear, hope. The kind that comes when you realize you're not broken. You're just undernourished, undervalued, underestimated. The human body, even past 60, is one of the most adaptable organisms on Earth. Your muscles want to rebuild. Your joints want to move smoothly. Your balance system, your nerves, your eyes, your feet, all of it still wants to cooperate. But it needs your partnership. It needs you to stop thinking, "I'll wait until I feel better to start eating right." It needs you to reverse that. "I'll start eating better so I can feel better." And if you're worried that it won't be enough, that one food can't make a difference, let me remind you, nothing in the body works in isolation. Eat one better thing today, and it improves blood sugar. That improves circulation. Better circulation improves oxygen flow to your legs. That improves how long your muscles last during a walk. That reduces the chance of a misstep. That reduces your fear of falling. That gives you freedom. One food can start that entire chain reaction. This is not about perfection. This is about pattern. The pattern you create now will carry you through the years ahead. Not just physically, but emotionally. Because weak legs don't just take your strength, they take your confidence. And when you lose confidence in your body, you lose a piece of your identity. I've had patients who stopped traveling because they didn't trust their legs in airports. I've had people avoid concerts, weddings, and parks, all because they were afraid they'd get tired, stumble, or need help. That's not a small loss. That's life shrinking around you. And that is something we can fight. If you've been listening to this and thinking, "I don't know where to start," let me make it simple. Don't overhaul your kitchen. Don't buy supplements just yet. Just go to your grocery store and pick one of the 6 foods I mentioned earlier. 1. Add it to a meal you already enjoy. That's it. Then notice what happens. Notice how you feel an hour later. Notice if your energy is just a little steadier, if your digestion is smoother, if you sleep a little deeper. That's your body saying thank you. And when you see that sign, keep going. Because you don't need to move mountains. You just need to move forward. This is the part of the journey where many people hesitate, where fear of change gets louder than the promise of progress. But I promise you this, on the other side of that first small step is a version of you that walks stronger, steadier, and prouder. And that version is still within reach. So take the step. One food, one walk, one choice. Let your legs carry you, not just across the room, but back into the parts of life that truly matter. Let me ask you something deeply personal. When was the last time you truly trusted your legs? Not just to carry you across the kitchen, but to carry you through life. To dance without hesitation. To walk into a room without scanning for a place to sit down. To climb a few stairs without bracing yourself for the ache? I ask because the ability to move freely is something most people don't miss until it's gone. And by the time they feel that loss, what they often mourn isn't just movement. It's freedom. It's dignity. It's the confidence to show up in the world without fear. And that's what I want to give back to you. Throughout this video, I've shared the truth behind why your legs weaken. I've shown you how muscle loss isn't just a matter of age, but a silent, creeping process tied to nutrition, inflammation, and neglected recovery. I've walked you through 6 powerful foods, real, accessible, and transformative. I've reminded you that strength is not reserved for the young, and that even in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, your body is capable of rebuilding. But none of that matters unless you act. We live in a time where information is everywhere. Health tips flood our feeds. Diet plans scream for attention. But at the end of the day, most people are overwhelmed, not by lack of knowledge, but by lack of belief. They don't believe that one small step will matter. They don't believe that their body, tired and aching, will respond. And so they wait. They wait for the perfect plan, the perfect time, the perfect motivation. And while they wait, strength slips away. So if you're still here with me, if you've watched this far, I want you to hear me clearly. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You are not broken. You are simply being invited to try, to believe again, to take what you've learned and do something with it. Maybe that means cooking sweet potatoes tonight instead of grabbing something processed. Maybe it means adding oats to your morning instead of skipping breakfast. Maybe it means writing down the names of these 6 foods and committing to trying one each day this week. Whatever it looks like, I want you to do it not just because I said so, but because your future is worth fighting for. Think of the moments you haven't had lately, the walks you've said no to, the events you've skipped, the activities you used to love but no longer feel strong enough to do. What if we could get some of those back? Not all at once, but slowly, steadily, with intention. What if food could be more than fuel? What if it could be medicine, recovery, possibility? I've seen it happen. I've seen people who were afraid to stand in the shower without support go back to dancing with their grandchildren. I've seen former athletes regain their stride. I've seen older couples walk hand in hand through parks they hadn't visited in years. I've seen pride return to tired faces. All because they made the decision not to surrender. You can do the same. And if you're still unsure, if something in you is hesitating, let me ask you this. What's the cost of doing nothing? What's the price of staying exactly where you are? Eating the same things? Ignoring the signals your legs have been trying to send you? Isn't it worth trying something different, especially when that something is as simple as the food you choose? Now, before we close, I want to hear from you. I want to know which of these 6 foods surprised you the most. Which one are you already eating? Which one are you most excited to try? Let me know in the comments below. When you share, you help others feel less alone. You remind them they're not the only ones on this journey. And that kind of connection, especially for those of us walking this later chapter of life, is powerful. And if you found any value in this video, if it sparked even the smallest shift in how you see your health, I invite you to subscribe. Not because I need another number, but because I believe in building a space where people over 60 are empowered, not pitied. Where they're given tools, not lectures. Where they're reminded that their best days are not behind them. They're just ahead, waiting for stronger legs to walk toward them. So, subscribe, comment, share this with someone you love, someone whose legs you still want to see moving with power and pride. And above all, remember this: your legs are not just limbs. They are your history, your hope, your freedom. Feed them well, move them gently, trust them again, and let them carry you back to the life that's still waiting for you. Every journey toward strength begins with a single intentional step. And often, that step is not physical. It's mental. It's the decision to stop letting time dictate your limits, and instead, to let your choices define your future. What we've uncovered together isn't just a list of foods or a set of medical facts. It's a new mindset, one that recognizes aging not as a slow decline, but as a powerful opportunity to rebuild, nourish, and take control. Your legs, which may have quietly grown weaker over the years, are not beyond repair. They are not symbols of loss. They are resilient structures waiting to be rebuilt, one thoughtful meal at a time. Sweet potatoes, oats, avocados, berries, salmon, and eggs. They aren't magic, but the decision to include them consistently, with intention, is powerful. When you fuel your body correctly, your muscles respond, your balance improves, your confidence returns, and most importantly, your independence is preserved. That's what this is about, not just strength for its own sake, but the freedom to live the life you love, without fear, without limitations. Now, here's the deeper truth. The most significant transformations don't come from rare, dramatic efforts. They come from daily decisions, repeated, reinforced, and refined over time. You don't have to do everything perfectly. You just have to start. You just have to keep showing up for yourself. This is not a quick fix. It's not a trend. It's a lifelong relationship with your health. And like any relationship, it flourishes when it's nurtured with consistency, kindness, and care. So take this information and don't just store it. Live it. Start today. Build your meals around what strengthens you. Walk with a little more intention. Breathe with a little more purpose. Choose strength, not the strength of youth, but the strength of wisdom, of persistence, of quiet resilience. And when you begin to feel the changes, when your steps feel lighter, your energy lasts longer, and your fear of falling fades, know that it's not luck. It's the return on your investment, the reward for choosing to take control. That's the real power of this journey. Life lesson. You don't regain strength by wishing for youth. You reclaim it by honoring your body's needs today. It's never too late to rebuild. The sooner you nourish your muscles, the longer they will serve you. How to apply. Choose one of the 6 foods we discussed. Add it to your meals 3 times this week. Take note of how you feel after. Pay attention to your balance, your stamina, your sense of stability. Keep a small journal if needed. Let your progress speak for itself. Now I'd love to hear your thoughts. Question: which of these 6 foods do you already include in your diet? Or which one do you plan to try first? Please share your answer in the comments below. Your perspective might just help someone else take that first step too. And if this message resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel. It helps us keep sharing meaningful content to support your health journey. If you feel generous and want to contribute, we also welcome donations. It keeps this channel growing and makes it possible for us to deliver more valuable content for you and your loved ones. Thank you for watching, and remember, your legs carry your future. Take care of them today.